Hey YouTube, Retro Dave here. This is a response video to Snestastic's, I think it's Deflated, Frustrated video that he recently posted up about sending off some of his games collection, and he basically asked what other people thought about doing that, and people were freeing up a bit of space, kind of shifting stuff they're not really interested in collecting for. Let's turn it down a moment. I can't hear myself fucking think. I know it's not a pickup, but I'll grab a beer. So I basically want to just basically let you know, Pete, and anyone else that's watching, bit of my history on games collecting and what I've done and how I've freed up some space and so on. So I'll try and not ramble too much, so bear with me. Basically, I started collecting retro games in 2005. When I had a flat, lived in my own flat, moved out to my mum's house, rather. Had a flat, started, I think I got my first laptop, got myself hooked up on the internet. Yeah, I was quite late at joining that bandwagon. Got an eBay account sorted out, and the first game I ever bought, again, was Gremlins 2, as I keep mentioning in my videos, because it is like my favourite NES game. Got Gremlins 2, and I bought a Nintendo NES off my neighbour. Pardon me. So that's how it all started, and I bought the games I had as a kid, like I said in my other video, probably a half dozen, 6, 7 or so, and then I was thinking, the games were quite cheap. I mean, say 2005 isn't that long ago, but the prices of the games were a lot less than they are now. Don't get me wrong, some still held their money, but you could definitely get a much better deal than you can now. Basically, I was collecting for it like crazy, and what started out as a bit of a laugh with my mates. We'd have my mates to come around after work, and we'd hook up the NES and we'd play 2-player like Double Dragon or stuff like that. And then I bought a SNES, and then I started buying games for that. And then before I knew it, it got out of control pretty quick. But I didn't see it like that. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I had a NES, SNES, I had my PS2, which I'd had since new. So I had the PS2. I'm trying to think. I had a whole load of systems: Mega Drive, Master System. I had the PS2. I think I had a PS3 at the time, but I didn't really buy much for it. But basically, I was collecting for the SNES and the NES like crazy, and I was spending a shitload of money. And I sat and worked it out one day, and what actually happened was I was basically. What actually turned into like a hobby. It turned into an obsession, and it got out of control. Basically, I was bidding on loads of stuff on eBay, and there was times when I was bidding on 20, 30 items at a time. And when I got outbid, I'd have to just put a bit more in just to keep them green. It's kind of weird, and I think eBay can be a very, very dangerous place if you're not careful, and if you can be easily led like I was. I mean, I just started out, got my laptop. Got myself fired up on the internet, got myself on eBay, and you get carried away with it. So yeah, if anyone out there's new, be very careful, because you can get sucked in, and before you know it, you're spending money, you're spending your wages, and you don't really want to leave yourself short. There was times I was not sacrificing things and cutting myself short on food and all that kind of shit. Not to the extreme, but I was thinking, oh, I can't really afford this. But you see a deal and you think, I've got to get it now. It might not come up again and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I did. It got a bit mad, and I was spending quite a bit of money every month or every week or whatever as it was coming out. And I basically wanted to get as many NES and SNES games as I could. Now I started buying all the good ones, and I bought them all box complete as well. I've only had a few loose carts. I would only buy box complete, and I was also doing upgrades. So I'd buy, like for example, I bought Zelda 1 and 2 for the NES, and I spotted ones that were in much better condition than mine, and I bought those. And then the ones that were in mint condition, I wrapped in like these like clear bags. So not like now you've got those box protectors. These were like They were protectors, but they were like a plastic wallet, and I basically put them in there and didn't use them. So they were kind of like ornaments, really. And looking back, thinking, yeah, okay, bloody hell, why did I bother doing that? But anyway, so I had ones that I'd use, ones that I didn't use, and it got a bit anal like that. I started buying stuff that was in mint condition. Like I bought mint Super Nintendo consoles. I had two of everything. I had 2 SNES consoles, 2 NES consoles, and one of each I wouldn't use because they were like pristine, like almost like new. I didn't want to spoil them, and that's what made it started getting the fussiness got more and more fussy, and I started spending more and more money on this stuff. And I'm still buying more and more games and so on and so on. So it's spiraling on and on and on and on. And I think the penny dropped when I had my display cabinets were full, and I could stack boxed NES games from floor to ceiling. And I kid you not, floor to ceiling, and that's a lot of games. And I actually thought to myself, this is getting out of hand. As good as it was to walk into my flat and have it look like having a Toys R Us in your own front room, you know, from back in the day, you got all these games lined up. It was great, but I thought, you know, this is actually now, this is getting ridiculous. So what I did was I went through it and I thought, right, what games am I going to keep, and what games have I got for the sake of having them? Games I'm never going to play, games I've got no interest in. I bought them because they were boxed in good condition. On pure impulse, you know, I might have seen a seller had a certain game, and then checked their other listed items and found they're selling a few, so you get like a postage deal, all that kind of thing was going on. So you're getting like little deals, postage discounts, that kind of thing. And I just thought, well, do you know what? Let's go through it all. And I sold off quite a large chunk of games. It felt good to unload a few. And that then freed up some money to then buy some games that I really wanted to do that I couldn't afford to buy. So that felt good to do that. And again, then I started thinking, well, what about other systems? So then I started selling some system stuff I didn't use. So I think I sold the PS1. I think I sold an N64. Stuff just basically concentrated down to NES and SNES. In the end, I kind of whittled it down. And then again, I shaved off more stuff from the NES and SNES collection that I didn't use. So it took a while to get to the point where I had so much stuff that I felt that I had to get rid of some of it because it was getting out of hand. And I think I went through my PayPal emails and added it up. And when I saw what I'd actually spent, I was like, Jesus, this is bad. It was in the thousands. I'm probably talking about £4,000 roughly. I can't remember. And I thought, what the hell, right? I could have sorted out myself a decent car for that kind of money. So yeah, so that's what spurred me on. I think eventually, even if you're watching now and you're collecting for every system, you're trying to get as many games as you can. You're buying games for 50p, whatever. There will come a point when you will sit in your room, if you've got a game room or your living room or your bedroom or whatever, and you'll look around and think, oh, what game am I going to play today? And you'll kind of scan your eyes, and you'll be just overwhelmed with all this stuff. You'll be like, do you know what? I don't even know what I want to play. And then you won't end up playing anything. So you'll get to a point where you don't even know what to play. And when it gets to that point, that's when, you know, it's something's telling you to say, do you know what? You need to have a sort out. And that's basically what happened to me. So anyway, so yeah, so I sold off a load of stuff. And before I met my now wife, and she obviously knew what I was into, collecting games. She didn't have a problem with that. You know, that's me, it's who I am, and she accepted that. But when I actually moved out my flat and moved into her house, you know, she was kind enough to let me bring my collection with me. Although she said that, bearing her house wasn't very big. She said that, you know, do you really need all of that kind of thing? And I thought, well, you know what? No, to be honest, I don't. And you know, we had you know, my daughter on the way, and I thought, right, okay, I'm not really gonna play a lot of it. You know, just trim it down. So I basically sold off another load of stuff, and what I kept was the best of the best. So I kept my two SNES consoles, my 2 NES consoles, all the best games, you know, the best to the top titles. Sold off all the crappy ones, or not the crap ones, but the ones that I'd filtered through last time, I'd like filtered through again, if you get what I mean. So I sold off another load of stuff. Was left with all my favourite games. I said I'd never sell. They're the ones that I kept. You know, I've got a game like now, like Zelda or Mario World. Games that, why would I want to sell that? That's what I did. So I kept all the best stuff. Then this is where the problem started, right? So I moved in. All my best stuff was there. I didn't miss the old stuff I'd sold. To be fair, I'd kind of moved on from that. And what? My daughter was born. And I still had my games. I didn't play them a great deal, to be fair, I didn't have much time. And I decided that I wanted to buy another car. Now, I'm a bit of a classic Ford fan. I like my old Fords, and I had a Capri at the time when I met my missus, and I sold it. And I bought a Mark 1 Escort. Now, I wanted to buy another car, which is the car I've got now. And I thought, well, you know, if I want to buy another car, I need to sell my games to raise some money. Now, like Pete, like you said, you sold off stuff that you didn't miss. Now, I hope you don't regret making that decision. You know, I've sold things and regretted it. I've sold cars and regretted it. And think, why did I do that? You know, 6 months later. But I think as long as you're absolutely sure that you've done the right thing, then that's fine. But I made a decision to sell all my game collection off, and I'm probably going back. I've got a picture on the wall of my Escort. Was 2010, right? So in 2010, I took the decision. Bear with me. That it was time to move on and sell my games all off. I just kept my Xbox 360. I sold all my games off. Thought, that's it. I'm done with this. You know, I'm done with collecting. Fuck it. I stuck the whole lot on eBay. It took me two whole days, Saturday and a Sunday. It took that long to take all the pictures, take all the games at their boxes, show all the detail, everything, right? And I stuck them all on auction. No bite now, no reserve, nothing, right? Pardon me. And I think I sold the whole lot, all the good stuff I had, and I was sitting on there a week later watching everything end, and the prices of some of the stuff that was going, I couldn't believe it, and it was just going bing, 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 and it was ending and ending and ending, and at the end, when I saw what everything it sold for, I think it was just under £3,000. I was like, wow, I've got fucking £3,000. I mean, who wouldn't be happy with that? But I thought, okay, fair, and I was quite happy. I wrapped everything up, I stuck it in the post office, and that was a mission. Posted everything off, and got me money in my PayPal account, transferred it to my bank, had a load of money. I went and bought my car, which I've got now. I've got a Mark 3 Cortina, which I was happy with. I've still got it, used it as my wedding car, and I was like, yeah, great, lovely. Yeah, got myself a nice car, and forgot about the gaming. Now, the problem started when I moved into this house, and I basically, the house we've got now, I've got at the back of my garage, so behind the wall that's behind me over there, the back of there is my garage, and that's where the car is. And this room was a workshop, and when I first got this, when we first moved in, it was just a storeroom until we'd unpacked everything. Now I had some workbenches in here and my tools and bits and pieces, and it was just basically like a workroom. And I wanted to make it into something where I could come play some music, do some stuff like housework and painting bits and all that kind of thing. And then I got the bug again. Now this is what I mean by making sure you made the right decision first time round. Now I thought, you know what, I really miss playing the Nintendo. And yeah, and this is where it went wrong. And this is why I'm in the situation I'm in now. Don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not feeling as bad as I did when I first started. Like, you know, thinking I've got too much. I don't think I'm not at that stage. But basically what happened was, I really wanted to play the old NES again. I started getting all the nostalgia coming back, thinking, oh, I'd love to play Gremlins again. Love to play Turtles again, love to play Mario again on the NES and Duck Hunt. And I started thinking about it, thinking, oh, maybe I'll just buy the one console and yeah, maybe I'll just buy the one console and leave it at that and have a few games. And I'll keep it out here on a little telly and I'll be happy with that. So yeah, so I basically went and bought another NES, which is what I've got now. And I bought a few games, and then before you know it, you end up with this lot, right? Now, I didn't say I lost control. I didn't lose control. I wanted them again. And once I started playing the NES again, and then I wanted to play the SNES again, and it all come back. So Pete, if you're sure that you've done the right thing in selling your stuff, that's good. But if you have any doubt that you think perhaps in the future you might wish you hadn't, don't do it. Because I actually said to my wife the other day, I said, you know what? In a way, I wish I'd never sold my games and I'd not bought that car. I wish I'd kept my Capri and just not bothered. And I wish I'd never sold my games, because now I'm buying them all back. And to buy them back is costing me a lot more than what I sold them for. Fair enough, I'm not buying everything boxed, because I'm not too worried about boxes. If I get them boxed, then fair enough, but I'm not hunting out mint condition games anymore. It's just too expensive. So, you know, I wish that I hadn't have sold them. I regret selling my mint boxed SNESes, my mint boxed NES consoles, my mint games. I regret it now. Yeah, I really regret it. So I'm kind of replacing, you know, games that I had sold before, buying them on either just cartridge form, and also picking up games that I didn't have before. So, you know, I'm kind of saying I'm back to where I was, and I'm happy now. I'm not thinking, oh, you know, I wish I was back in my flat, I wish I had my old games and all that. I'm not feeling like that. I just wish I'd kept them so I don't have to buy them again. That's kind of where I am with it. Now, before I started doing YouTube videos back in January, because I was actually watching several regular YouTubers do pickups and so on, and I already had probably 90%, 80 odd percent of this stuff here already. I already had before I started doing videos. And before Christmas, I had a Mega Drive, a Master System, a Sega Saturn, PS2, the large one. There might have been a couple of bits, can't remember now. And I actually sold those off because it got to the point where I was kind of collecting for everything. I'm not too sure where I was going. I knew I'd always want the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, but I thought, well, I'll pick up other bits and pieces because this is a game room. So I thought, well, I'll just get as much stuff in here as I can, and then when mates come round, I've then got a choice of what I want to play. I've got the space. I haven't got to worry about being in my missus' house, running out of room. I haven't got a little flat that I've got no space for it. I've got this room is all my area. I can cram it with as much shit as I want, and Mrs. ain't gonna mind. So I kind of, well, let's fill it up with gaming stuff. So that's basically what I did. And then I then realised, actually, I don't really need this stuff. And I've got I was a Nintendo kid growing up. I've got no nostalgic memories or no connection with Sega whatsoever. Although I'm not saying it's a bad system, it's not. There's some good games. I'm just not bothered about it. I just don't miss it. Like Pete said, you know, he doesn't miss some of the consoles he's got rid of. He's like, I'm not bothered about original Xbox, not bothered. PlayStation, not bothered. You know, and I felt that way about the Sega stuff. I was quite happy to get rid of the Sega, quite happy to get rid of the Mega Drive, Master System. I weren't worried. You know, and I'm still not worried now. If I want to play them, I've got them on an emulator disc on my laptop, and I can sit there and play them on emulator. I'm not interested in collecting for it. So again, I had like another trim down, and I'm like Pete. He's focusing on you know, boxed American SNES games, and that's his main focus. And I think that's great to have that one thing to collect for, and it's a wicked system, as I'm sure a lot of you know. And Pete's collection is a real nice collection of games. You know, and I've watched several of his videos, and he's a tinker because he's inspired me to buy games that I never even knew were out. Realm was one of them. He showed a video. I think that was his 100th. I think it's around that. It was like 99, 100. It was something like that. One of the later ones is done, and it inspired me to get it. I'd never heard it before. I thought it was great. Yeah, so the SNES is a great console. Pete's got some great games for it. And I think it's really important to have that focus, and that his focus is very similar to mine, and this is why I enjoy watching his videos. You know, I'm a massive SNES and NES fan. That's what I was growing up. Nintendo, you know, Nintendo kid all the way. So yeah, so that they are my primary focus now is Nintendo stuff, not cartridge stuff. It's you know, NES, SNES, Game Boy Advance, Colour, you know, all the variations, the Game & Watch games. So if it's Nintendo, I'm basically going to buy it. That's kind of my driving force in my collection is my cartridge-based Nintendo stuff. I will pick up the GameCube game. There is that slight exception. I wouldn't say I'm avidly collecting for it. If I spot a couple of games in a charity shop for a couple of quid, like I've showed you in one of my other videos, I'll pick them up. But I'm not overly bothered. I'm quite happy to walk away from it, like I say, at a car boot, like I said in my previous video, or whatever. So I'm quite happy to, you know, to let it go. But yeah, so I'd say, yeah, so I'm basically focusing on NES and SNES as well. Similar to Pete, I think Pete's just starting his NES collection off. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to for you, Pete, seeing your games that you're going to be getting for the system, and again, the future SNES games. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing those. But yeah, so that's basically a bit about me, a bit about what I've done and what I regret doing and what I'm doing now, and that's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of a bit about me really, a bit about what I've been doing. You've kind of got a bit of a full package going on. So yeah, so I mean, as it stands, to kind of sum it up, after a mouthful of beer, so the systems I've got now is the NES, the SNES, the N64, the Amstrad GX4000, which is what I had my first ever console, the GameCube, the Spectrum, Xbox, PS2, PS1. So I've got those, but I'm not collecting for them. I have bought the games that I want for them, and I'll stick in at that. So, you know, I've got my Destruction Derby games, your Tomb Raider games, your Final Fantasy games, stuff like that. So I've got those, and I'm happy. So it's my primary focus is just the Nintendo stuff now, and I'm happy with that. I feel I'm in a good position now where, you know, I've got the space, I've got the time, got the, you know, got the regular wage coming in for me to be able to buy some of the stuff. Yeah, and I'm kind of, now I've got my focus. I realise that, you know, it's not, the best way isn't to go and buy every game for £2 or 50p. You know, I've done that with the old Xbox and PS2 stuff before Christmas, and you know, if you want to go for a full set, that's fine, but it's not me, and like Pete, you say, it's not you either. So yeah, that's kind of it really. I think I'm waffling a little bit now. I'm rambling. I think this video's gone on probably far too long. But yeah, so that's kind of where I am. So I'm NES and SNES, cartridge only. That's my focus, and the Game Boy stuff. Sorry. Yeah, so that's it really. And I think the moral of the story is, if you use eBay or you're new to eBay, don't be sucked in. Be careful. And if you're going to sell something, be absolutely sure that you're wanting to sell it and you're not going to think in the future, should I have done that? Because if you try and buy it back, it's expensive. Yeah, and it makes you wonder, why did I do it in the first place? So that kind of sums up my response, and a bit of history about what I've been doing and what I did and stuff. Yeah, and I think I've waffled a bit too much. So if you're still with me, thank you very much. If you haven't, you know, gone off already. But yeah, please, yeah, comment if you feel you want to, or please do a response video yourself to Snestastic's channel. And yeah, and it'd be good to see what other people think on, and other people's experiences on, you know, your collecting methods and experiences. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, and please rate, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks very much. Cheers.